So this is a very interesting technique, something I've learned in masters, and it's a technique we usually do after you've learned all the basic eye patterns and the, as we call it, the Babcock techniques in NLP practitioners. A lot of people always ask me, what is NLP, what's it about? And these days when somebody asks me that question, I would say, well, what's this? This is my phone. And every now and then you get a message on your phone that it needs updating because it's outdated. And if you don't update it, eventually it will not be very user-friendly or be completely outdated. So for me, when they ask me that question, it's a way to update your mind. It's a way to update your old programs, which has been in your life mostly from very early childhood. And some people go through their lives with these old programs. They live their whole life with these old programs. And NLP is a way to update these old mind maps and how to change them, how to bring them more into the present tense, into the present territory. And new code NLP is not only updating a behavior, or updating feelings, or updating belief, but it's a whole system upgrade. It's a, if I can use a phone analogy again, it's a whole iOS upgrade with all the apps. It's a whole system upgrade. And when I work with clients, for me, I really strive to make a complete, deeper change, because you want change to stick. You don't want only someone to stop smoking. Yes, of course, but often they stop smoking and they start something else, and then it's eating, and then it's whatever other new addiction comes into their life. If you do a whole system upgrade, a change of the person with a new purpose in life, new meaning, new vision, that's sort of what we strive to do in a new code NLP, that it's not only changing behavior, but it's a much bigger change. So this technique, the NLP alignment technique, is something I've learned, as I say, in masters, and it's a very short technique, and it's very interesting how much you can do with a short technique. And it's about the eyes. No, it's not very well visible there, but I'm going to read you the quote there, and it says, it's a quote from Rumi. And Rumi was a poet which lived a few centuries ago, and he said a few very wise things, and I like reading his poems. And he said, if your eyes are opened for you, you'll see the things worth seeing. Now, yeah, there's a little boy watching butterflies. But it's a powerful thing he says there. If your eyes are open, you'll see the things worth seeing. And it's interesting that he says, if your eyes are open, almost like it has to come from an exterior force, something outside has to open your eyes, because it's too hard to open your own eyes. And again, my eyes was opened for me, and all the big spiritual teachers in this world has taught us, from the religious ones, the prophets, that our eyes need to be opened. We need new eyes, and NLP is a way to open new eyes. I have another quote here of Marshall Proust. The voyage of discovery is not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. Now, the question is, how do we get new eyes? Because in the end, you want to be looking at life, and you want to look at other people and looking at yourself with a new way of perspective, a new meaning. And to change that, you need new inner eyes. Some people say new third eye, whatever you want to call it. And how do you do that? Now, sometimes life does it for us. We have a heart attack, or you get cancer, or you have 6 months to live, or somebody close to you die. And it can go one or two ways. Some people become more shut off and blame the world. Other people have a complete update of the whole system. Now, I think it's sad if you have to wait for life to upgrade you. neurolinguistic programming, there's techniques to upgrade your system, to upgrade your eyes, to give you new eyes, to see what's really important and help update those old maps. As the NLP belief says, one of the presuppositions, the map is not a territory. And whenever you have a problem or challenge in life, it's because you start struggling through life with an old map. And that map you're using, you're trying to get your way around in your life now, but you have a map of 5 years old, or 8 years old, or 17 years old, and you're stuck. So whenever someone comes to me and says they're stuck, I know it's an old map. We have to update those maps for whatever techniques we're going to use. So this technique I'm going to demonstrate today is, we call it eye accessing, and I'm going to tell you a little story. I watched an interesting Netflix movie or series a while ago. It's called Modern Love, and one of the series was, one of the episodes was the relationship, or a special relationship between a caretaker, a doorman, and a young girl. And he was looking after her in a special way. He always wanted the best for her. And of course, he wanted to make sure that she brings the right guys home and that they don't sort of treat her badly. And when she started dating around about, I don't think, 17, 18, 19, she would bring a guy home and he would say, you won't see him again. And she would get really angry and thought, what do you know, old man? And she would ignore it, and then she never heard of the guy again. And so he would go one after the other. He'll never call you again. And the guy would actually write his telephone number, and the doorman would say, no, he would never call you again. And no, you won't see him again. And she got really angry. And she asked him one day, how do you know? And he says, I look into the eyes. I can see everything there. And so we went on, and eventually she found the guy, and she wasn't that crazy about him. And the doorman, the morning when he went after the night, the doorman said, he's the one. You'll see him again. You'll see him for a long time, for the rest of your life. And she thought, what? As it turns out, she married the guy, and they had children together. And so it went on. And one day, as a grown-up, one day she came back to the doorman and she asked him, how did you know that this was a guy? How did you know how to look into these guys' eyes and said that, no, he's not the one, or he's the one? And he said this to her, which was really, really striking and really moved me. He said to her, I didn't look into their eyes. I looked into your eyes. And I could see he's the one. So NLP work with eyes and eye accessing. And if you remember in NLP practitioner, it's not very clear there, sorry, but the way we look at eyes is how eyes move. So when somebody comes and sits in front of you, you would look wherever their eyes goes, whether they remember something, whether they remember the sound, or they construct something. So if somebody says, what's the outcome they want? I want to be motivated, and their eyes go to remember, and they have a negative remember, that's not the way you're going to get to a new goal. You want a new goal where they will, as they sit in front of you, go to visual imagine and see themselves in the future, a new image of them with new confidence or new motivation. So that's all the NLP practitioner. So how we use eyes. The technique we're going to do today is called access alignment. And I always say, as my trainer told me, there's an NLP version of EMDR. Now, those of you who know EMDR is a trauma technique. It's very well used for, sorry, that's lighting is not so good. It's very well used for post-traumatic stress disorder. It's a technique I also use, but NLP has a sort of a very different version of it. So EMDR mainly is eye movements, and there's machines you can use as well for binaural beat stimulation, and by scrambling the pattern inside. So the eyes, the way the eye moves, will tell you where the problem lies. And if they focus on the problem and access the feeling in their body, and you just move the eyes in certain directions, you can scramble the feeling and the actual emotion and program something new in. So it's a complex process, so it's not, it's worth studying if you want to do EMDR. As I say, I use that some of my clients with complex traumas. The NLP version is sort of a short version and very elegant. So how does it work? Basically, the client will come to you, and NLP says the way they do it will be in their eyes. We can watch a client's eyes and get this strategy. Now, strategy, if you remember from the practitioner with toad model, where there's a trigger, there's operation, there's a test, and there's an outcome. So by looking into someone's eyes, you'll get a very good idea of how they do the problem. So there's only two things you want to know when someone comes with a problem. You want to know, when do they do it? And how do they do it? Only two questions. And that's what I love about NLP. It's not about the story. It's not about the content. It's not tell me everything, as many as you want. It's without them saying anything. I will watch their eyes, and I will, when they talk about a problem, where do their eyes go? Now, as their eyes would be mostly, and remember, visual remember up there, and often in a kinesthetic and self-talk. So their eyes would move there. Once I know how they move their eyes, I have this strategy of the eye movements of the problem. Then it's easy for me to change that and program something new in. So basically, client will tell me, what's the problem? Now, my questions would be, okay, meta model question, chunk down. Where were you when this happened? I was in my car. And what did you see? What did you hear? My phone rang, and I answered, well, maybe through a car system, not. And when I heard the voice, my heart just sank. So it was an auditory trigger. So you're going to follow the eyes, and you will see how the eyes move. Maybe it's the auditory member and the kinesthetic. Now, this is a lot of synesthesias as well, but mostly is you want to identify the eye movements for the problem. That's as simple as it is. How do they do it? Well, that's how the eye moves. That's a strategy. And when do they do it? Is when the phone rings, when they saw a face, when somebody didn't answer a text message, when a client said to me the other day, when I heard my husband's footsteps coming down the corridor. So that's my whole body froze up. So there you have it. Perfect. So it's sort of a kinesthetic. It's a auditory remember and a kinesthetic. Now, there's a lot of, with this specific client, there was a lot of auditory remember stuff going with the footsteps. But all I want, so next question would be, what do they want instead? So the footsteps coming down the corridor, the husband will still be there. What would you like to feel instead? What would you like to be? Who would you like to be instead? What would you like to be able to do instead? And the outcome the client said is, I want to be able to hear the footsteps and feel strong. All right, that's an outcome. Now, as she was saying that, I will watch the eyes and make sure that the eyes move in a different direction. If it's still the same, I know that they're not there, and I would get them in the state. And I would say, okay, so how would you like to feel when the footsteps, I would like to feel strong. And I was saying, what does it feel like when you're strong? And then the eyes would move in a different directions, and I could see a body straighten up. That's what I was looking for. Remember, NLP practitioners are excellent with calibration. Excellent. You see the minute muscle movements, body movements, and compare to the previous state. So I was like calibrating, and I saw the body was aligning up, and it was lengthening the spine. It's beautiful when you see the spine lengthen. And I realized she's just accessed the state. She was in a visual construct, an image construct, and I could see the feeling was there, a synesthesia up there, and that was the state we wanted. So we break state, and I say, okay, I want you to do it again. See the same picture again, and she went into the state. So I know what it's like. So I'm going to use that new state, the new eye pattern, and use it on the old eye pattern. That's just really, so how does she does it? Well, she had a new image, and there was a feeling going with that. I wasn't even sure what she was seeing. Remember, we don't know. We don't have to know what she was seeing. So I have the new eye pattern. So sum up, we have the eye pattern of the old problem state, and now we have the eye pattern of the new state. So basically, we're just going to do an anchor collapse. We're going to put the new eye pattern on the old trigger. That's as simple as it is. It's a sort of a eye accessing visual anchor collapse. That's as easy as that. So I would get her in the new state, and I would say, and I would first slow it down. I would say, look up there and get the feeling, lengthening your spine. Look up there, lengthening the feeling. So I would get her into the visual construct, feeling, visual construct, feeling, visual construct, feeling, up, down, up, down, up, down. And between every up and down, I would break state. So up, down, up, down, up, down. Over 7, 8, 9, 10 times. Break state. Let's see if you get the feeling. Follow my fingers. And the body would immediately go into the lengthening. So I've just installed a new eye pattern. And now we're ready to roll, because all I need is taking this new eye pattern, the outcome of lengthening spine to the old auditory remember. And I would say, right, we are ready. Are you ready for change? So, yes, I'm ready for change. So remember, I don't have a lot of detail. I don't know the story. I don't know the content. I just want to install a new eye pattern. And I would say, okay, in your room, and you listen to your footsteps. And as you listen to the footsteps, follow my, and she was going into follow my fingers. Up, down, up, down. Look at that. Up, down. Right state. Hear the footsteps. Up, down. Hear the footstep. Up, down. Hear the footsteps. Up, down. 7, 8, 9 times. Break state. One more. Hear the footsteps. Up, down. And I asked, what's happening now? And that, the first words the client say in that moment, you want to calibrate, it must be immediate unconscious state. And the words were, it's just footsteps. And I feel myself, and I feel strong, and I feel taller. It's just footsteps. And I know it's there. And I will test it again. Now, future pace. Imagine tomorrow, and if your husband's footsteps coming down the corridor, what happens? And she was lengthening it. The pattern is installed, the new pattern is there. Right? This is basically the pattern. Access alignment. You can use it for so many things, and it's so quick. The idea is not to do it quick, the idea is to do it properly, but it's so easy if you know the basis of how eye patterns work. There's so many things you can do and collapse anchors and install new strategies with a new eye pattern. And I heard back from her the previous day, and she said to me, oh yes, he was coming down the corridor last night, and my body automatically just aligned up, and my spine lengthened. I felt peace,